Kia ora, and welcome to Wednesday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect New Zealand. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with news. The US dollar fell for a fourth consecutive session today, sliding to its lowest level since February 2022. It's a 3.5% devaluation in just 1 week. Some think the US administration is engineering the fall to bolster its export competitiveness as the US factory sector misfires, tariffs aren't working other than raising costs, and to put pressure on the Fed ahead of next week's meeting. First up today, however, there was another dairy pulse auction earlier this morning, and that brought some interesting signals. The whole milk powder price came in almost identical to last week's full auction and has been holding at this higher level since the start of 2026 when it made that 7% plus jump. The skim milk powder price rose a strong 5.9% today from last week and is now 9% higher than what it was at the end of 2025. Positive signs, but somewhat undermined by the fast-falling US dollar. In the US, the weekly ADP employment update recorded a weekly gain of just under 8,000, continuing the slow easing they've been recording since the end of November. January non-farm payrolls, which will be released at the end of next week, is expected currently to show a very tame 40,000 jobs gain, which will continue the weak run that started in May 2025. And that may be optimistic. The Conference Board's Consumer Sentiment Survey for January reported that confidence collapsed to its lowest point since 2014, to levels even lower than the pandemic depths. It is now back to those levels that rose from the GFC. But the latest factory survey, this one from the Richmond Fed in the Mid-Atlantic states, showed little change from its already negative levels. New order levels rose marginally, however, but because that is on a dollar basis, it might just be because the same survey shows high price increase activity, required by even higher cost increase levels. More positive was the January Dallas Fed Services survey, which moved up into positive territory in January after 4 months of consecutive retreat. And today's US Treasury 5-year note auction brought the same median yield rise from the prior equivalent event a month ago. Higher risk premiums are getting embedded. In China, industrial profits rose 5.3% in December from the same month a year ago. They'll be pleased with that because for the whole of calendar 2025, they're up merely 0.6% and would have declined but for the December rise. In India, we can confirm the signing of their big trade deal with the EU, removing both tariff and non-tariff barriers, but the US isn't happy with that. In Europe, we should note that Swedish officials are looking at what it would take to ditch the krona in favour of the euro. An independent review has already pointed out that the benefits would greatly outweigh the costs. The Swedes last voted on the issue in 2003. In Australia, business sentiment, as measured by the NAB survey, was stable and mildly positive in December. Business conditions, however, improved more strongly on better sales and margins. And later today, Australia will publish its December CPI result after the strong labour market result for January, which will be closely followed and could very well move financial markets. They had a 3.4% inflation rate in November, and this December result is expected to be 3.6%. This will be very influential on the RBA's deliberations next Tuesday for their cash rate target review. And the US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.23%, up 2 basis points from this time yesterday. The price of gold will start today at $5,087 an ounce, unchanged from yesterday, and holding on to its record high. Silver, however, is down to $107 an ounce. Platinum has fallen more sharply, now at $2,522, down from $335 an ounce from yesterday. And American oil prices are up $1 at just under $62 a barrel, while the international Brent price is softish, now just under $67 a barrel. This is all US dollar devaluation driven though. And the Kiwi dollar is up 50 basis points from yesterday, now at 60.2 US cents as the greenback goes into another devaluation stage. Against the Aussie, we're down 10 basis points at 86.3 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're also down 20 basis points at 50.2 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just under 63.7, up 20 basis points from yesterday, and its highest since late September. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $88,576 and up 1% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been low, though, at just on plus or minus 0.9%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. We'll do this again tomorrow.